A week or so ago, I was talking about West Ham's form, and I mentioned that if you took it from the end of lockdown, so basically the end of last season and this season, it's about 12 months, rolled it all into 12 months of football, I asked the question, where would West Ham be? I suggested we'd be doing pretty well. I asked cheekily if somebody could maybe go and do the calculation for me, because I'm too lazy to do it myself, of course. And I've got to thank John, because John has picked up my slack, literally, and he has done the calculation. In fact, I'm going to move over here, because I'm going to put the table up there. Now, the reason that this is important is because I do feel that form over a year, 12 months of football, is a bloody good barometer. Let's be fair, it's not a couple of months, and it takes into account all mitigating factors. It takes into account signings, it takes into account injury, it takes into account dips in form, all of that stuff. And it's got us in 6th. But I think it's a genuine 6th. But I also think there's a couple of things to add into that, by the way. Now, I understand that some teams have played 34 games, some 35, some 36. This is not an exact science. This is just a representation of where West Ham are over the last 12 months of football. And the suspicion is right. We're pretty damn good. There's a couple of things you've got to take out, though. The first of all is Liverpool. Liverpool are not totally reflective. Their position there, it's boosted by the fact that they were so dominant by winning the league. And then now they're far, far worse than they are. So I think that's the first factor you've got to take into account. And this is really about, can we get 6th? Yes. But the question is really, can we finish higher than that? And I think the question to that is yes. The answer to that is an unequivocal yes. Because I think whilst you've got to take into account some additional factors with Liverpool that make them reflectively worse than it seems in that table, actually, in terms of West Ham, you've got to look that there are a couple of factors which make us better. Now, I'm going to talk about those in just a second. What I've done, though, is there is, I think it's worldfootball.net or something like that. I'll put the link literally in the description underneath here, underneath this video. And I want you to go and do this. What this is a predictor calculator. What it's going to ask you to do is going to ask you to input every score from every single game from now until the end of the season. Not just West Ham games, everyone's games. Everton are playing Chelsea on Monday, just before West Ham play. It's going to ask you to put that in. And then what it will do, it'll get to the end, you'll press the button calculate, and it will give you the finishing position for every team in the league. Now, for me, as you can see, I've not just clickbaited the title. This is what it's come up with for me. So West Ham finished 4th. It's also got Newcastle relegated as well. In fact, the interesting thing about Newcastle is, not really spending any time talking about it, is it's a shootout between them and Fulham. In my calculator, in my predictions, it's actually got Fulham sealing the deal before the last game of the season. That's relevant because the last game of the season, and it's Newcastle playing Fulham on the last game of the season. Apparently, anyway, it's all sorted out before that. But West Ham, I've got 69 points, same as Chelsea. Chelsea just pipped us on goal difference. And I don't think I have been overly generous in West Ham. I think in some games I've almost over-punished us. I'll take you through the individual games in a minute. However, when I said there were mitigating factors for Liverpool's place in that last 12 months of football, I also think there are some for West Ham. And I think there are a couple of reasons why we're better, right? So whilst that 12 months of football takes into account the Souček factor. So Souček was available for all of those 12 months. That's great. We hadn't sorted right back out at that point. So a large part of that form is predicated upon us having trouble. Bit of Zabaleta, bit of Fredericks, bit of Ngakia, bit of Johnson. We have improved since then. We've got a really good, solid right back who, let's be perfectly honest, has improved the team. Also factored in to some of that 12 months of that form, some of the months there was a Sebastian Haller factor and a Felipe Anderson factor. And then you've got to add in that we hadn't really sorted our defence out from. We're tighter now, we're better at the back. He's got his formations. We played both formations well. Played a 5 at the back well, played a 4 at the back well. Dawson's come in as well. This has been a massive factor for us, to such an extent that you would argue that we've not missed Ogbonna a couple of games he's been out. Obviously, we're stronger when he's in, but you take my meaning. Also, it's not factored in those 12 months, the Jesse Lingard uplift that we've got. My point is, I think we're better than that reflective sixth over the last 12 months. So if you go into this prediction calculator, and not only do I want you to, I will look at every single comment on this video. Not only do I want you to do the calculator, I want you to put where you have West Ham finishing in the comments below. I'll read through all of them. Look, I'm not going to be able to post all of them up here or anything like that, but I am interested to see if it's just me. You'll remember the video last week. The old man was on here. He was saying West Ham can finish second. That's not where I've got us. But when I'm doing this predictor, and I've got to do every single fixture, what I've not factored in is all the other teams that have other commitments. So I've not really factored in if Man United are playing. I've not really had a look to see if they're playing in Europe the week, but a couple of days before or anything like that. I've also just finished watching the Leicester game. Leicester against Brighton is not normally a way that I will fill my evening, I have to say. But I watched it. Brighton were pretty damn good, by the way, and Leicester got away with one. Keeper came out flapping at the end, and I feel they got away with one. But Leicester are not a team in form. However, they have got a win there, so that's been factored into my calculation, obviously. And also, they've been beaten by Slavia Prague in Europe, so they're out of Europe now. So I think they're still in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. However, they can more or less focus on the league. This makes them a little bit more of a threat than originally they were. Now, I'm going to take you through what I've done. And as I say, I've been overly generous. I think I've punished West Ham. So what have I got here? For the first few games, what have I got? I've got a win, a loss, a draw. In fact, the first 3 games, I've got a win, a loss and a draw. So I've not been overly. In fact, I've got another loss later on. Got 2 more draws in there. Let me tell you how I've got it down. We have to beat Leeds. We have to take this game seriously. And I'm sure we are taking it seriously. The only reason I said that is I thought Liverpool were there for the taking a little while. Not too long ago, Liverpool were there for the taking. They were a wounded animal and we showed them too much respect. I don't want to get to the end of the season and have regrets like that. This is a must-win game against Leeds. Leeds are a good team, but excuse me. But if we have got aspirations to get into the Champions League or to get into Europe, we've got to beat a team like Leeds. We really do have to. So I've got us to win against Leeds. Now, the next game is against Manchester United. I've actually put us down in my predictor for us to lose. Could we beat Man U? Yes. Could we draw against Man U? Yes. But I want to be fair. What I don't want to do is say win, 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 and get to the end and I do the calculation and West Ham got 85 points. It's not realistic. We won't get that. We made a good showing of ourselves in the FA Cup against them. We took them way past 90 minutes. Could we do that again? Yes. But I also want to factor in that Lingard will not be playing against Manchester United. So I've got us to lose that game. Anything above that is going to be a bonus for us. And then the next game after that is Arsenal. And I've put us down to draw that game. So, again, I don't think I have been overly optimistic here to get a realistic representation. What you've got to remember is a lot of these other clubs are playing each other. I speak about the Monday game before West Ham's game. Everton and Chelsea, they both can't win. Unless there's some massive skullduggery going on. Realistically, almost whatever result is a good one for West Ham. One of them gets a drubbing, great, a draw. Someone's losing points. Maybe they both will. The next game after that is Wolves, and I've put that down as a West Ham win. We got to beat Wolves, and we have beat Wolves handsomely earlier on this season. Look, they got some good players. We all know I like Traore, but he's not been in the best of form. Jimenez has been out. Sod's law, he'll be back for that game and he'll score against us. But we've got to put all that old West Ham-itis stuff to rest. All right? We have to. And then after that, and here's a really big game, by the way. So I've got 3 wins on the bounce now. So I've gone win, lose, draw. Then I'm going win, win, win. Leicester, we have to beat them. We have to beat them. I've just watched them against Brighton. I wasn't impressed. They're quite neat and tidy. They've got some good players. Tillemans, good player. Ricardo at right back. I've liked him for quite some time. Decent. However, they're there to be got at. There's no doubt about it. Brighton caused them all types of problems. Granted, playing a different style of football to West Ham. But we've thrashed Leicester this season already. We need to do it again. Or at least just get the 3 points. And after that, we play Newcastle. We've got to beat Newcastle. We have to. We've got to get revenge for early on in the season. Out of time, how it's changed. My goodness, the turning of the tides. First game of the season, we were awful. Newcastle looked brilliant. It looked like they'd had an actual genius signing with Callum Wilson there. Season hasn't quite panned out like that, has it? Now, the next game after Newcastle is Chelsea. I've got us down to lose. I just want to be reasonable. When I watched Chelsea against Liverpool, I wasn't overly impressed. They were quite good. But this is a topsy-turvy season. This is very much like the season when Leicester won the title. Last season at Upton Park. Teams are dropping points. Do you remember? Leicester and Tottenham in a two-horse race. The joke is that Tottenham finished third in a two-horse race. We have to make sure that we capitalise, because it won't be like that next season. Liverpool will be strong again. Arsenal, Tottenham, we're above some very, very good teams, and we can't expect... In fact, a team of West Ham's stature is quite remarkable, realistically, that we're in the top 8. That's really good. We're above some very good teams. Got to make hay while the sun shines. Now's the time to get in. You get extra money for finishing higher up the league. £2 million extra per place. Crikey, you get to the promised land, you get in the Champions League group stage. That's an extra 30 million. We could be looking at an additional £50 million on our transfer budget if we do this. We won't get this chance again, I'm pretty sure of that. Although I do have faith in Moyes and what he's building, now's the chance. The chance for Tottenham to win the league was the season that Leicester won it. Arsenal were crap, Man U were crap, Man City were crap, everyone was crap, right? That was the chance. They mucked it up. This is our chance now. Anyway, so I think we could lose to Chelsea. We might not, but you know what? And even then, I've been really realistic. After Chelsea-Burnley, I've got us to draw. So even though I'm predicting these unfavourable results, I still have us, if my model works, on 69 points. Obviously, all the other fixtures have to go away. But as I say, the teams are playing one another. All of them, Man U and Leicester and Chelsea and Everton, they're all playing each other. They can't all win. It's going to be, mathematically, this is really interesting. It's really tight. I want you to do this yourselves. Please do. I'll be very interested to see what you come up with. Just see if it's just me. Maybe I'm being too optimistic. I don't think I am. I bet there'll be people out there, you'll put these and you'll have us doing more than 69 points. Maybe there's people who are pessimistic. Maybe you think, well, we'll lose 5 games. But the way I've got it, we can lose a couple, we can draw 3 or 4 and still get in there. So I've got us to draw against Burnley. I think I've got us to draw against Everton. Look, you know what? It might not work out that way. You know, it could be something different. Realistically, could we beat Burnley? Yes. Could we beat Everton? Yes. But I'm not ridiculous. I'm not going to start predicting that we win every game between now and the end of the season. You've got to be a little bit realistic. I think I have been. This is where it gets interesting. Last three games of the season. Brighton, West Brom, Southampton. I've got us to win all 3. We have to. We have to. If we get to that stage and we're still in contention, we have to beat those teams. And quite frankly, if we can't beat Brighton, West Brom and Southampton, we don't deserve to be in the Champions League. Not something wrong with those clubs, but any aspiring club that wishes to be participating in probably the biggest competition in the world. I mean, there's argument that the Champions League is a higher standard of football than the World Cup these days, right? Any team that has aspirations to be operating in that exalted company certainly needs to be able to beat Brighton, West Bromwich Albion and Southampton when the pressure's on, all right? If we can't win those 3 games when the pressure's on, we might as well not qualify anyway, because we probably wouldn't do very well when the pressure was on in a group stage. But you know what? We know I not beat Brighton. They looked all right. But that's all right. Maybe we draw against Brighton. Maybe we draw against Brighton, but we beat Burnley. It doesn't matter which how you chuck this. As long as it all comes out the same way, it don't really matter what you chuck in the mixer, so to speak. West Bromwich Albion after that, we just have to. And the final game of the season is against Southampton. That has us 69 points. And I haven't bored you with all the goals of the individual goals and you know, 2-1s and 1-1s and this, that and the other, because I don't believe that goal difference is going to really be a factor. Now, I know if you look at the table there, the goal difference with Chelsea, it looks like it might be. But I can't. I'm not stupid. I can't believe that between now and the end of the season, our goal difference is going to be better than Chelsea's. That's hard to imagine that's hard to factor. That would be being overly optimistic. I don't know. I don't know about Tuchel. I've not watched much of him, to be honest. As I say, bit of the Liverpool game. Clearly, he's trying to put his stamp on the team. And I do think, as you can see, I think they're possibly our biggest threat in that sense. You know, that being said, there's Chelsea. They've got all these wonderful players. They've spent pretty much. They've spent most of the money over the last year in the Premier League, haven't they? With 80 million or whatever it was on Kai Havertz and 50 million on Timo Werner and players all over the place. Good team. Anyway, I'll be interested to know what you think. Do you think in fact, never mind what you think about. Just tell me below, right? The link is in the description below. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but I think it's worldfootball.net calculator, league calculator, or some predictor calculator. The link's in the description below. Go, just Google it. You'll find it on there easy enough. I think I just typed in Premier League prediction calculator into Google. Find that if you find one. Have a go. Put the results in below. Let me know if I'm going mad or not.